All right, everyone, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. Listen, we're going to give some people some time to get in, but again, welcome to Mental Health Matters with Marty. Listen, we are so glad. Listen, I'm glad and excited to have my boy out here with us today, and hope you all are doing well as we are making this transition back into normalcy, whatever that might be. But let me know you're on, y'all. Let me know you're on. Say hello from where you're at and all that good stuff. It is Tuesday, and tomorrow is the big day. I'm too excited about tomorrow, y'all. Tomorrow is the day of dropping my podcast show on every form of podcast streaming service that you can think of. Excited. And don't miss out on Friday also. This coming Friday is going to be the podcast release launch party. So you got to join me. We got some special things set up for you. But I am so glad. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And all this month, I've been bringing on fellow therapists who are in the field, and just wanted to let you know there are some brothers out there doing the work, and we are so glad about it. Alana, how are you? I'm excited for this as well. So listen, I'm not going to further keep him in our waiting room, y'all. I want to bring my brother out, and so we can just chop it up about these couples in quarantine. So listen, if you know some couples, listen, tell them to get on board and jump on now. Listen, like and share this and get it out. But with any further ado, y'all, I want to bring my boy all the way from Florida on the East Coast down there, Mr. Montiquus Jackson. What's going on, my brother?
How you doing, brother? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I can't complain, man. I'm pretty good out here in Florida. You know, we doing good down here.
Y'all doing all right in the Florida?
Doing all right.
Doing all right. All right, man. Listen, tell us who you are, what you do. You're doing some amazing work down there. I'm gonna come down there and hang out with you since you always make it out here to Cali. You know, you and your family might as well come on and move out here to Cali.
Man, you got to tell my wife, man. I know she watching, so I hope she heard that.
Yes. Move to Cali. Listen, you got a spot. Y'all just come on in here. Come and join us until you want to spread out, do your own thing. You always got a spot with my company, man. Come on in and do your own thing and grab an office and all that good stuff. We'd love to have both of you.
Appreciate it.
Tell us what you do. Tell us about your business down there, what you're all about and everything.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, my name is Montiquus Jackson. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, certified anger management specialist. You know, I've been in private practice going on about 6 years now. This is actually going into my 6th year for myself.
Right.
And the name of my practice is Starting Pointe Counseling Services. So basically what I work with are adults, all the way down to the age of around 12, 13. I don't try to go any lower than that, but you know, and
it's a whole other specialty.
Right, there you go. Tried it, really wasn't my thing. My style is not really conducive for that age group, so I kind of just stay away at this point. But you know, I work with couples, I work with individuals, I do a lot of work with men, and just different ages. Like I said, from 13 all the way up to senior citizen men. You know, it's something that I have a passion about, just kind of working with men. But at the same time, I really love working with couples also. And I know that's what we're going to talk about with the couples in quarantine. Yeah. So, you know, I'm excited about that today, man. But
so your wife commented. Huh? She goes, your wife commented. She goes, yes, I heard.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, I have 2 practices, man. One's my primary practice right now is in South Florida. So West Palm Beach, Florida, basically. Yeah. Royal Palm Beach, the city of Royal Palm Beach.
Right.
Like I said, that's the primary one, and my secondary practice is in Port St. Lucie, Florida. So it's about an hour north of West Palm right now. Mm-hmm. So just kind of working both spaces and in both areas, but of course, like everybody else, man, doing this telehealth thing, getting used to it, and you know, so.
But I don't want to gloss over this because one, we as Black male therapists, we make up just about 1% of the whole therapy population with this. And you, my brother, don't have one location. You got 2 locations doing a thing in Florida. You know, 6 years in, that's to be, man, I'm trying to grow up and be like you. Get 6 years in, and
Yeah,
you and the missus, y'all doing it out there.
yeah, it's a lot of hard work, man. She definitely really supports me and lets me do what I do best, is go out there and just make it happen, man. She supports me.
Right.
Like tonight, it's 9 o'clock. I was like, I gotta go, I gotta get away, and she's like, all right, do what you gotta do, So she just gives me that space to just do everything I need to do to make sure, I'm getting everything completed and no
Right.
stress, man. So
Okay.
most definitely.
And the missus is in the field as well.
She's a doctor of physical therapy, so she's a physical therapist at a hospital. But we got some
Okay.
things working, man. I'm not going,
I hear
I'm
family
not gonna
business
do it.
coming
I'm not
on.
gonna do it yet. But just stay tuned. And I think maybe we can both come back on here, in the near
Okay.
future and talk about some things. But
I think that
we got some things cooking in the kitchen, man.
okay. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Y'all cooking the kitchen, cooking the profession. Y'all just doing it up.
We
Being in
trying,
the
man.
yeah. Tonight I wanted to talk about couples and
Okay.
what it's like. And we kind of were chopping it up beforehand, talking about both of our couples referrals have definitely increased. and I don't want to think it's just because of the pandemic, but the pandemic definitely had some influence on why our couples referrals and have gone up. Talk to me about couples. Why do you like couples, and what are you seeing in this trend about couples?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I don't think, I know there has been an uptick in my practice when it comes to couples. I like I was telling you, I probably got 8 in the last week or so.
Right.
Um, and I think, I love working with couples because it allows me to just see, work with people to get them to a point where they can understand each other a little bit better,
Yeah.
and work for a common goal. And given what's going on with the COVID, I think, like you said, with the influx, it's not that I'm getting couples that are saying, oh, because of COVID we need to come see a therapist. I think that's the trigger for a lot of couples, just
Right.
having a lot of time together, which you're not used to doing on a day to day, day in
Right.
and day out basis.
That's good.
So yeah, I think it's definitely showing some signs of maybe some things that maybe they were able to look over, over
Mm-hmm.
time, and now all of that stuff is coming back, or
Mm-hmm.
and just to be simple about it, I think people are just frustrated altogether, maybe losing jobs,
Okay.
not furloughed, or
Right.
can't go back to work at all. The kids are there. It's just a big pot of everything going on right now. So
Right.
some people aren't. You think about it, nobody is prepared for this,
Right.
and
Right.
so you do something where we're not prepared. We weren't prepared for COVID, let's just say. And
Mm-hmm.
now you're used to leaving the house, working 40-hour job, and then you throw in commute time, so that could be another 45, 50 hours a week you're gone.
Right.
And it's only 164 hours in a week. So at the end of the day, all that time you're gone, now you're spending at home, and then you throw the kids on top of that. You throw being a for some
Right.
families, being a teacher,
Teacher, the disciplinary one, the assistant principal, dean of discipline, the
it's
lunch
stressful.
lady.
It's stressful. And
Yeah.
then on top, here's the other thing, Marty. There are no outlets a lot of times. Like,
Oh, that's
everybody's
good.
outlets are kind of, well, maybe now they're starting to open up, but over time, your outlets are taken away. So,
Right.
I can only speak for myself. Like, me, man. I'm religiously in the gym every
You're in the
morning before I
gym.
even, drop the kids off, go to the gym, go to work. That was
Right.
my routine, to make sure I was
Right.
refreshed every day. 2 months I haven't been.
Right.
And I'm a couple, my wife and I, we got kids in the house, and
Okay.
she actually has to leave the house, so I stay home. I'm house dad, right? I'm teacher.
Right.
I get
Right.
them straight. I go to therapy mode, and I'm wearing all these hats, and she comes in and jumps right in. And it was a lot at first, I can't even lie. It's like, for me, definitely, how do I juggle all of this, right? How
Right.
do I make sure my kids are where they need to be, right? And then not banging on my door, daddy, daddy, daddy. I got it can be a lot. So
or interrupting your sessions. My daughter interrupts mine all the time. Talking about, hi, I'm like, I am so sorry about.
I had to lock them out.
Yeah, you have to.
Lock them out, man.
You have to.
And, you know, but they're young; they don't really understand. So, but it took some time, and so I can only imagine what other couples are going through right now. You know, and what's going on. It's definitely difficult, man.
Yeah, this is Dr. Brown. He's got a wonderful book, man.
How you doing, Dr. Brown?
Called Joker the King. Wonderful book. So he says, going to work used to be a buffer for couples too.
There you go.
Yes. And then we got Susan talking about when the shelter in place started.
That's my sister from another right there.
Oh, that's your sister from another. Okay.
Yeah,
so about that about some of the predictions of that. Is that still the case? Do you feel it's the case? What are you seeing?
I don't mean to laugh, man. I was thinking about some of my clients. Yeah, they filed for divorce, man. Like it's, you know, it was kind of like it was playing in the background, like, oh, should we or shouldn't we? And then once this hit, oh yeah, we're done.
Okay.
And so, you know, I may end up working with just, you know, maybe say, for example, I was working with one of the spouses and, you know, they were having a hard time in the marriage or whatever. And maybe it wasn't even marriage counseling. Maybe it was just individual. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, okay, you know, I filed my divorce papers, or, you know, she filed or he filed. And it's like, you know, this is like pushing people over the edge to some extent, you know?
Right. It really is. Now, I'm grateful that so far all of my couples are staying together. What are some of the common, what we kind of call presenting problems, if you will? What are you seeing, and what's some of the referrals definitely that you're seeing, and some of the triggers even that you're seeing amongst you had 8 new referrals in what you said 2 weeks?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
What are you seeing with these couples, and what are the common needs that couples have?
Well, the common need in all of them is communication. Right? It's just a lack of communication. They're not used to spending that much time with each other, actually having to talk to each other. A lot of couples that I've seen are kind of just passing through the day, and then you know, they get home at 5 or 6 o'clock. Maybe take care of the kids, sit down for an hour or two, go to bed, wake up, do it again. So you got to think about, you know, like Dr. Brown said, going to work is a buffer. You know, that takes 40, 50, 60 hours out of your week right there. So, you know, ultimately, you don't know how to spend that time, even though you are maybe working from home, right? You still, okay, like you said, your daughter knocks on the door. That's frustrating at times, right? You can't really work and focus on work like if you were at your office. Now you have all these other distractions going around, so that causes frustration and people getting upset and just causes arguments, you know. So it's really, I would honestly say the common denominator in all the couples that are reaching out is just communication. Lack of communication, having to communicate in ways that they've never had to, you know.
Yeah. And since we're talking about couples and all that, your wife, come on, Mrs. Jackson, definitely talk about how the rates, divorce rates and domestic violence both were predicted to rise during this whole quarantine season and everything. With that, definitely, I've definitely seen some domestic violence, or at least the threat of it during this time. With that, and definitely we feel that. I don't know about you guys, but we're definitely predicting out here that once we get quasi back to normal, that we're going to see a lot of reporting that might go. I love that commercial. Have you seen that commercial where the woman is calling and ordering a pizza, but she's actually talking to the police? Wonderful commercial where the husband has clearly beat her up. And there's domestic violence going on, and she's calling and she's going, 911, how can I help you? She goes, yes, what are your specials? She goes, you know, you called 911. She goes, yes, I do. What? I would like a pepperoni pizza. And yes, my family is here. We need delivery. So she was talking about that. And by be able to communicate with the 911 officer the seriousness of the domestic violence that's going on. Because when you are in the home with the predator, it's hard to make that report, and especially when children are around.
Right.
So I love that commercial because it reminds us, gives us different ways to address certain things as domestic violence, which is because why do you think domestic violence? We definitely know because of lack of communication, but from you seeing couples, what's some of your thoughts and theories behind domestic violence and why we might see it, or why that, as your wife has so eloquently stated, that it is predicted to rise during this time?
I definitely think it could be because spending so much time together, right? And not knowing, not being able to have a release, not being able to have the buffer, like Dr. Brown said, not being able to have outlets. So, if somebody doesn't know how to channel their frustration / anger or whatever it is, and maybe they had that outlet before, right? Now it's taken away from them. So who are they going to take it out on? The person closest to them, and then if you see that person all day and they're the source of your anger and frustration, I can definitely see how that can happen in the rise, going up in that area.
Yeah. But brother, the struggle for power, because that's what DV really is. It's a power struggle. Not the one, and I wish I could say it was just always the man, but I do know one where the woman was doing so we can't just keep it as the stereotypical that it's only the man, but it is a power struggle because they get in their mind, letting them know that it's control, power and control.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So what advice do you give couples who maybe have not called for a therapist yet, but what advice do you give them, or what even new tools and nuggets that you can definitely give them about communication?
So in reference to communication, I don't want to quote anything, so I'll just say it in the way where it makes sense to me.
Okay.
Learn to listen first, right? Listen.
That's good.
Listen, and then speak, right? A lot of times the communication aspect is people are just kind of listening to speak versus and waiting for their turn to, I got to defend myself for X, Y, and Z. So listen, and I might have said it wrong in the beginning. But it's listen to understand, not listen
there
to
you
speak,
go. Yeah.
Right? Listen to understand, right?
Yeah.
And then speak, right?
Yeah.
So once you get an understanding of what your spouse or the other person is saying, then you speak. So a lot of times it's I'm listening just so I can jump in and respond. Almost like I like to say like double Dutch, right? You kind of right, when I'm gonna jump in, so and then that can cause an argument.
Yeah.
Somebody gets cut off, they don't feel like they're being heard, the communication fails, and then off to the races. Here we go.
Yeah. And a lot of us have to say, I think a lot of unresolved things come up that were previously being suppressed, which is so true.
What we said in the beginning. Yeah.
Because as you're now looking at this person all the time, all those things start to rise up in there. And your wife made a wonderful, Miss Jackson is on it. She never talked about financial hardships also placing a strain on the relationships during quarantine, especially when you're talking about possibly losing jobs, or if you're being furloughed, or you're on unemployment. It becomes very stressful.
Yep, I agree.
Look, y'all, I'm loving these comments. Keep the comments coming. Says, give up your right to be heard so you can hear. Right, you're right. That is the comment out. Thank you, Portia. Y'all, for Portia Scott. If y'all don't, she got a wonderful show Monday through Friday. Talk about wake up and show up.
Okay.
That's what we got to do. We got to wake up in our marriages and show up in the marriage as well with that. So this has definitely caused us to do all of this. Y'all have some great responses. So definitely listen to understand, then to respond. Thank you. That's excellent. with that. That's why we have one mouth to speak and two ears to listen. On hashtag listen more. Look at all the experts coming in. Johnny, what's up? Defense mechanism is being presented more too. You're right. Some defense mechanisms with that. Love Johnny is the man, y'all. He had him on last week, and Johnny was just spitting out some knowledge.
Okay, now, Johnny.
That's what you get when you want to go in the kids. He's in the school system. God bless him.
Okay.
But what makes doing couples therapy so passionate for you?
To be honest, man, I never really saw myself as a couples therapist.
Really?
Yeah, and we could probably just at the whole conversation on like my journey through getting into therapy.
Okay.
But I never, I just remember doing an internship and just kind of working in different arenas. And I never thought about doing couples counseling. I always wanted to work with kids. And I think it was, I don't know when it just hit me, but I want to say it was probably once I really got into private practice. And I worked with my first couple, and I was like, I actually like this. It was the first couple I worked with, and I can't even remember because I've worked with so many. But that first couple kind of just, I was like, I actually liked the feeling I got once it was over, and actually the process of reconciliation or whatever we were working on that time. I honestly don't remember. But to see them basically restore their marriage was powerful for me. So that's when it really hit me, just kind of seeing the work that couples would do and, how they would come back each week and kind of work on things and see the progress. And it's just a different feeling I would get versus working with an individual. Right. I feel good working with individuals too, but just couples, kind of do it for me also in a different way. And it's just a proud papa feeling almost.
Yes. Your wife is the goal of communication is mutual understanding in that. So let's talk. If I can get slightly a little bit more personal with you.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. But no, so you have a wife who's in the field, who's a professional in physical therapy and all of that. So what are? Come on, tell the people secrets that you and your wife have to keep
you said secrets.
Oh,
I'm not supposed to tell them.
Well, some nuggets. What keeps your marriage going, and what do you? Because you guys do a lot together. Right. I've been stalking y'all on Facebook and Instagram and everything. Y'all do a lot as a couple, then you guys do even things as a family, which is quite admirable. And so, why is that so important in you guys' relationship, in your relationship?
Well, I think, we have this hashtag and thing that we say in our house, and, it's right here behind me too.
Tell her Poppy is she there?
Oh, you want me to tell her to come up here? I tell her to come
up. Why not? We're talking about couples. No better to have couples in with us.
All right. But I think for us, trying to fix this iPad the right way. I think for us, we just have a mutual understanding. We have, like I said, we have a hashtag. I don't even call it a hashtag. It's something we say though. It's like Team Jackson, right?
Right.
We're on the same team. At the end of the day, we can have our differences with each other, but we are on the same team. And so we play for Team Jackson at the end of the day. So we try to make sure that we're both trying to be heard. We're both be able to hear each other. We're both able to speak freely and openly about whatever it is, and understand that we're coming from a place to help better our relationship at the end of the day. No malice, no malice intent or anything. And so that's really the foundation of our marriage, in my opinion, is just open, trying to be as open as possible with communication and putting God and then family first, So that's kind of how we try to do.
Yeah, because that becomes your mantra, Team Jackson, and then you're teaching that even to your children and everything. So it becomes your slogan, like Nike has, just do it. So you got listen, this is Team Jackson. This is Team Jackson. not
Yeah.
Team Sellers, it's Team Jackson, because everything in this house has to abide by Team Jackson.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you guys work through differences? I know when you have team, you have some teammates sometime. So we talk about team analogy that they're valued players, but they might be the Dennis Rodman of the team. I've been watching that Michael Jordan special and everything.
I see. Yeah. You know, again, it's just knowing each other's personality, right? Like, I'm someone that is very, I like to think I'm thoughtful to some extent, right? So I process a little bit slower than her. So if we have an issue and I might not have an answer right then, right? I might not be able to spit something out. Like, even though I'm a therapist,
right,
I still got to work through my own stuff sometimes in my head to get it out. It's in a sense, it's easier for me to be a therapist for somebody else versus use my own stuff on myself.
Exactly.
So,
that's just real.
It's me basically like thinking of how can I respond in a way that is not going to be offensive or make me sound defensive or hurt Team Jackson. So sometimes I need to process that because I'm wired in a way that I just growing up I shut down. So it's easy for me to just shut down, right?
Oh, that's good. So do you do
that's something I've worked on through our relationship to not shut down on her because she's a communicator. She's very great at communication. And for me, that shutting down was like, all right, I'm done. I don't have nothing else to talk about. But that wouldn't get us anywhere. We would basically, there she go, therapist. I told her to come upstairs, but she's not listening.
I got
lack of communication, right?
But, no, I'm not responsible for the break of Team Jackson tonight, brother. I don't want you to have to sleep on the couch.
It's comfortable though, man. I tell you.
Well, how do you know it's comfortable?
I mean, I take naps on there every day almost.
Right.
But in all truthful, man, we again we don't take ourselves too serious either. You know what I mean? We try to look at the big picture and understand that we can resolve it as long as we take our time to do it.
That's good. Of course, another therapist stuff. We're talking about love languages. Do you use the love language approach and talk about filling each other's love buckets and what?
Of course.
Okay. For those who may not know what love languages are, talk to us about love languages and why so many of us use this. I love it. I use it all the time. So I had one black man tell me, "Man, this is stupid." And then when he just I'm tired of these love languages. And then after he got done talking, what he would fail to say, I said, "Watch." And I looked over to his wife. I said, "Just touch him on the leg." And he just came all the way down. I said, "She just used love languages on you, brother. How stupid is that now?" Languages.
So we know. Well, if you don't know, it's 5 love languages basically, and if I'm not mistaken, it's written by Gary Chapman.
Yes.
And basically, if you read the book, he outlined the 5 love languages that each one of us, in his opinion, has. Right. And as a couple, we have to learn how to speak each other's love language. So there's, like I said, there's 5, and not in any particular order.
Right.
But I always leave out one. So if I leave out one, help me out. But the first one, or one of them, is physical touch. It's self-explanatory. Acts of service, and I can go through the definition of each one. So you got physical touch, acts of service, receiving gifts. Words of affirmation, and here's the one I always leave out.
QT.
Yeah, quality time. Exactly. Which is my wife's, right?
Okay. You can't get that one.
Right. It's always one, man. I don't say them in any particular order, but I know when I start saying them, like, I'm gonna leave one out. But quality time is, self-explanatory. Just spending quality time, right? Just you and your spouse. That's what their love language is. Receiving gifts is, buying them things, taking them places, surprising, all of those things. More of a I wouldn't say monetary, but somewhat of just showering somebody with gifts. Then you have physical touch. It doesn't even have to be a sexual type of touch. It just, it could be non-sexual, just arm around them,
Right.
You know, like you said, the man and the woman touching her leg, touching his leg, just something subtle like that. And then you have acts of service. In my opinion, acts of service is basically, you know, going above and beyond to some extent, and or taking something off your spouse's plate.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning, for example, if me and my wife is the one that typically takes the kids to school in the morning, and I wake up after her and they're gone, and I may wake up early one day and say, you know what, let me just do this. Let me take the kids. Let me take a load off your plate. You can sleep in or whatever. Like, that's an act of service.
Exactly.
And then how many was that? The last one is
quality time, words of affirmation, gifts.
Words of affirmation.
Yes.
Words of affirmation is, self-explanatory, kind of like being your spouse's biggest cheerleader, like building them up and instead of like tearing them down.
Yeah.
So, the premise behind those is we are, or at least 1 to 5 of them. They rank. If you do the quiz on 5lovelanguages.com, it ranks you from your highest love language to your least. But the issue I have with couples, a lot of times, even if they've done a love language, even if they haven't, they have to learn that whatever their love language is doesn't mean that's how you show love to your partner.
Exactly.
So, and I like to use myself as an example, man. And that's just the type of therapist / person I am. Not like a whole bunch of self-disclosure, but it helps me make my point. For example, my wife's is quality time and acts of service, right? Mine, and we've done it a long time ago, but that's what it was when we've done it before. Maybe they've changed over the years because they can. And mine's are words of affirmation. And maybe somewhere in there was receiving gifts at some point, because I like to buy her stuff, right? I buy her whatever. And it wasn't that she didn't want it, but it wasn't what she wanted, if you get what I'm saying. So she had to say, that's fine, I like the gifts, but I would like if you did X, Y, and Z. And so in my mind, I'm like, I just did something nice for you. Why are you not happy about it? She wanted me to maybe like take a load off her, right? And so again, that's where the communication comes in, because the defensive spouse is like, oh, you're ungrateful, you da 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 da, and then then we go down that rabbit hole. So again, the love languages help you to really identify how to show love to your spouse. And like the woman said, the love bucket, I call it depositing into the bank.
Yes.
Right? You're making deposits.
So because you're gonna have to do a withdrawal one day.
And if there's nothing in the bank, how you gonna withdraw?
You can't. You done bounce the love.
There you go.
We had another comment on here, and I think this is a lot of messages, and the opposite of each. Love language means if someone, for example, loves physical touch and they face abuse, then that hurts even more intensely, since their way of showing love was corrupted. Definitely, we have to look at those different things like that. So that we can definitely look at, why it might be what speaks to you may not speak to your spouse, and those are definitely things we have to explore too. And that's another great conversation to have.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So she's not gonna come. She's kind of in the middle of some things.
I get it.
She said definitely next time she'll be here.
Most definitely, but I didn't give any pre-warning, so I appreciate you. I appreciate her comments on here and everything. Miss Susan keeps talking to you, so just keep buying them plane tickets.
Yeah, see, that's what I would do: buy a plane ticket to fly to Atlanta to see, see your peoples. Give her a break. Acts of service, right?
Right.
Out of here, go. I
hate to tell you this, but they're flying to Cali, because they're going to be moving to Cali. We love y'all in the ATL, the Mecca of the South. Howsoever, we coming to the West Coast with that.
Man, the plan was to come to Cali in July, early August, man. Late July, early August, but that's not happening.
We talked about,
it's not going to happen now, man.
Yeah. She chimed in. She chimed in. Yes, I love it. See, and this is great, because this is a form of communication. This is keeping it alive, and I think we have to look at different ways. Keep the gifts. That's what it said. Give you acts of service, quality time, and physical touch. Yes. So you know your see, I love it. You know your wife's love languages. So you just earn some cool points right there.
There you go, man. I appreciate it.
Yes. With that, but that's so important. With that we understand, and as we better communicate, it builds the bond.
Right.
With them. So how do we as couples, and I love that you said, one of your things was kind of shutting down in that. How did you get past that? Because that's a big thing I think that we as men might struggle with we as men can do that quick stonewall, shut down, I'm done, pieces, deuces, I'm out, that fight or flight thing.
Right, most definitely, man. For myself, I had to identify through therapy where it comes from. Like, where did that stem from? Because that was just my reaction in a lot of situations. Not even just with my spouse, just with people in my life at times.
Right.
So just kind of identifying where that came from, and I like to say, once you know where something comes from, then you have the ability to change it.
Yeah.
That like identifying the why is half the battle right there. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, or why you're acting the way you're acting, then you got a long road to travel. But if you can kind of like pinpoint why you're doing these things, then you can start to make corrections to that. So once I identified it and worked through it, and I kind of had some ideas as to why, but of course, going to therapy, you talk things out, right? I can sit. I'm a therapist. I can analyze my life. I can do all of that stuff, but I'm not talking out loud to myself.
Right.
So I'm not hearing my self talk. But once I sat in the therapist's office, I started to hear certain things, and I'm like, "There's the answer right there." You're right. And at that point, I started saying, "Okay, I can change this behavior now because it's up to me, truly."
Yeah.
And and at the end of the day, in my relationship, my wife has what's the word I want to use? She has the green card, let's just call it that, the green light to say whatever. So if she feels like I'm being defensive, she can call me out on that. And that's when I'm like, okay, you're right, I am defensive. Because again, it's Team Jackson. It's not, she's not trying to make me feel any kind of way. It's like, I feel like you're getting defensive now, or I feel like you're shutting down. And so, she may say, okay, do we need to take a break? Do we need to, just talk about this another day? And I'm like, yep, we do.
I love that because I love doing safe words, with my couples. I'm like, okay, when we get too heated, let's throw out this safe word. And you guys have this beautiful thing. Hey, do we need to take a break? Because some people and some couples aren't mature enough to say, hey, we need to take a break. But they can throw out a safe word that can help them say, we need to ding, ding, ding. Everybody go to your own corners. We need to stop this brawling and all that type of thing, and I've had some crazy safe words. I just had a couple said, did y'all call Scooby snacks? Because that's your safe word. And he said, no, we ain't had no Scooby snacks. The store ran out. I'm like, bro, come on. You got to, then somebody got to get in the kitchen and bake some Scooby snacks or something. We can't.
As soon as you said safe word, first thing that came to my mind was Kevin Hart. Then he said pineapples. But it is special.
I got a couple who has pineapple. So I ain't touching that one. Yeah, they got pineapple. I said, okay, I ain't touching that one. But pineapple it is.
Yep.
But why is it so important that we can, as couples, that you have the ability, you and your wife have the ability to call, she has the ability to call you out and you not be offended from it, but by it, but be able to step back and say, okay, she's got a point. How did you get to that point anyway?
Well, I mean, I had to not always put myself first, right? I had to put our relationship before myself at the end of the day. And so it's me having a sense of humility and saying, I'm not always right. I'm not, I don't have all the answers. I'm not being attacked right now.
Right. Wow, that's good.
And we can work through this, right? A lot of times shutting down and I've been through it, shutting down and never coming back to the same issue. It just kind of compounds. So learning how to work through things, that's what I wanted. I wanted to resolve stuff, but me shutting down or whatever the case may be, it doesn't lead to resolution. So I had to take a step back and say, if we want to resolve whatever the issue is, I have to be, a grown up, let's just say, and stay in this conversation, stay in this discussion or whatever we want to label it as until I can't, and then learn how to come back. Right. Not next week, not a month from now, maybe like a day or a couple hours or whatever, once the dust settles a little bit. So, it was just a conscious effort on my part, a conscious effort on her part. And because when you resolve conflict, well, here's the thing. Conflict will do one of two things for your relationship. And it should strengthen your relationship at the end of the day. Go. Yes. But if it doesn't strengthen it, then it's going to kill it. So, you have one or two options when conflict arises. Either you handle it or you don't. And when you handle it and you come out on the other side of it, it gives you as a couple confidence in resolution and resolve. And it's like, as the couple, she needs to go to sleep now. But at the end of the day, man, she made me lose my train of thought. It just gives you that confidence to say, as a couple, we can get through it, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what it's about. So
it is.
And you go ahead.
No, I said it is about that.
And you want to have confidence as a couple. It's kind of like you said, the love bank, right? If you look at it like this, every time you resolve a conflict, you deposit into the relationship bank.
Thank you.
And when you don't resolve, it's almost like you're doing a withdrawal.
Yeah, you are.
And soon you will be in the negative because you're not putting anything in that bank.
And they're gonna do what? Close the account and put you in collection. Yeah, no, I think it's one of the things that we think, and I think a lot of people get wrong. Just because you're married does not mean it's going to be conflict free. You have to resolve it and learn how to resolve all that. I had one couple come in and I say, hey, one of my favorite questions after I go through the whole spiel, so what are you here for? And he goes, I don't know. Everything is just perfect. She goes, I want a divorce. I was like, whoa, everything ain't perfect. And one of the things she goes, we never fight. Everything, we're suppressing everything, and we don't argue about anything. And say, so I'm done. Because I feel he's checked out since we don't argue about anything. She goes, I try to pick a fight with him and he still doesn't argue. So, and in that, are we suppressing some things in there as well? So I love what you said, that conflict can either make or break a relationship in that.
Right.
I want to hit a couple more comments that people I love all these therapists on here. Sometimes the other partner just wants to be listened to listen and not respond. Sometimes the other one wants to feel heard and acknowledged. That's so true about that.
Yeah, I had to learn that too, man.
Okay.
Hey, I mean, I probably can write a book on a lot of things that I've been through in reference to therapy, couples, all of that stuff. But yeah,
we need no new material out there.
I mean, here's the thing, like, and I'm very transparent when it comes to a lot of things in my marriage to some extent, right? But with my wife, she works in a hospital setting, so people, all types of personalities in there, and know how working in a hospital can be. I've worked in hospitals, so I know how it is. And so there's always some people in there that you just don't get along with, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And she would come home and oh, let me tell you about X, Y, and Z. And I'm therapist ready on her. Like, okay, well, this is what I think you blah, blah, blah. And she get mad at me. I'm like, well, why are you telling me? Because I'm trying to solve your issue, right? And she's looking at me like, I don't want you to solve it. I just want you to listen. And like, okay. So I had to learn, like,
good.
They don't always want a response. They don't always want, like the person said, they just want you to listen and feel heard. That's it. And again, men were wired to fix things. So you come to me with a problem, I deem it to be a problem. I will fix the problem.
Okay, I got a solution. Yeah, but I love it. So now, do you have to sometimes go, well, she said, listen, I don't want you to solve it. I need you to listen, or vice versa?
No, not anymore. I let her talk, and if she, and I make her feel heard, and if she asks for feedback, then I'll give it. But I'm not just gonna jump in there and give it, because again, she just might want to vent about something,
Right.
And, I don't want to push her over the edge, because I'm like, well, this is what you should do, because when you try to solve the problem you're not asked to solve, you're basically telling them they can't solve their own stuff.
Right. Your wife is like, she clowning you now. Listen, don't drop them the names. They might be listening. She clowning you now with it. Listen, we got a couple other good things in here. I love this. Thomas Rama, don't allow things to fester.
There you go.
Yeah. In that, and man, you got lots of comments on your pineapple. I'm not gonna go into your girl Susan talking about, she always says pineapple. Someone else talking about they boss uses pineapple. I don't know. That might not be a good thing, Pat. With that, no, we definitely with that again, definitely. Oh, good. I'm glad, Alana. Thank you so much that we're doing this. Man, I want to just, like I said, have you come on, talk about this, because I definitely think that as we're talking about couples, definitely, Anthony, you came on late, man. Talk about it. Says, what advice would you give to couples who are stuck at home with each other right during these times, and what could they do not to fight or get divorced?
There you go. That gets me into the 4 things I wanted to touch on before we get out of here.
Go right ahead.
First thing I come up with is just being more patient with one another, right? We live in this fast-paced world, and a lot of times our lives are pretty fast-paced, and so our patience levels are very low. And I can only imagine how couples' patient levels are now, being home with everything all day, family, kids, wearing all these different hats. So learning how to be more patient with one another, and understanding, like giving a little bit of empathy, right? Saying, right, we're both stressed out. So, before I say what I'm feeling right now, let me think about how this is going to land on them, right? And is it something I could work through on my own? So it's giving patience, giving grace to some extent to your partner. And I think that can go a long way with just communicating in a sense, and not causing an issue out of something you're able to work through on your own and get past. Second thing I would say is find something to do together. And I mean, with the kids at times, but I'm talking about strictly for couples, where you put the kids upstairs or something, put a movie on, let them go do whatever they're going to do, and spend time together alone, just the 2 of you, and build that intimacy. For example, my wife and I, we've been saying, hey, we need to do this stuff around. We need to paint. We need to do this. We need to do that. But of course, life is moving. So, a lot of times on the weekend, we're kind of just in relax mode because we're tired. And so since this whole quarantine then happened, we've been able to knock out a lot of projects around the house, whether it's doing yard work, whether it's painting, whether it's doing stuff for the kids' room, other things around the house. So, what I've realized, and I'm pretty sure she'll attest to this instead of, talking junk to me on these comments, but, I'm pretty sure she can say it definitely builds a different level of intimacy for us,
Yeah, it does.
And I'm not even talking like sexual intimacy. I'm talking about just connection, connecting. I made a joke maybe a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, I don't know, we switched out our trees in our front yard, bottom line. And I was like, yeah, we can go outside and do some yard work and have some yard intimacy. And, she likes to be out in the yard doing that. Whatever, I cut the grass, but I don't like to be, all that other stuff she likes. But, I've been getting in the trenches with her because I know that's what she likes to do. And so that's built a different level of intimacy for us. So we're out there talking, we're out there laughing, joking, having a good time. So, just kind of thinking outside the box a little bit to do some things together will allow a different level of intimacy that maybe they have never experienced because life is so fast a lot of times.
I like it. Before you move on to we had a question back on when you said number one, be patient. Marilyn Daniel asked, are you talking about, are you saying take the high road in that? And your wife responded too, but I'm gonna let you respond first.
I mean, it depends what you define as the high road. All I'm saying is learn how to have a little bit more patience, because we're both probably under different levels of stress that we haven't dealt with before. So whether you want to call it taking the high road or just saying, you know what I have right now, is my issue really that important? Is it something I cannot work through? And if it's not, then you bring it to them. But if it's something that you can really kind of work through, and it's not like sweeping it under the rug, it's genuinely, I'm actually okay, then you take the high road.
You and your wife, give your partner the benefit of the doubt, believe the best about them. I love that, because that's exactly what you said, in that you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. You're being patient with them. You're understanding the stresses that they are under with that. Oh, she had one more call. Look, yard intimacy. Y'all, I love it. Y'all showing us how to do that. She's showing you much love, giving you your love language, which is affirmation.
There you go.
Come on down. Y'all all right with me? I don't care.
Yeah. I told you she supports you, man. I can't ask for more. So I would say number 3 would be embrace spending more time together.
Good.
Again, life is crazy, and if you have kids, it's even more crazy. So a lot of times you hear couples, well, he works late all the time, or she never comes home, she's always out. Now you have the time you want.
Wow.
So embrace it, right? It's learning how to embrace that time you've been asking for all, however long. Now it's in front of you, and you don't even know what to do with it.
Yes. So with that, talk to me about like your concept on date night, and really, especially during quarantine, can you still have a date night? Can you still have a family night, since you're having your kids and everything? Marilyn Dale says, "Oh, you all in her house." That's good.
Yes, you can have date night, man. Date night to me is just an intentional thing you do, right?
Oh, that's good.
Saying, I want to make time for you.
Yes.
And date night doesn't have to be out the house. It can be in a room, another room, or in the living room, set the mood, whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be, we have to go out and do all of these things. I think what this quarantine is really teaching us is that we could do without a lot of things.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, in my world, I feel like we're learning to do, more with less. And so, ultimately, you can have a date night. You can have my kids like to call Fridays like family fun night. Are we going to watch a movie? Are we going to play a game? Like they embrace this because they know that we're here. So we have to make the best of it. And there she goes, spend time in another person's space to show you care about them. Yeah. And so that can be a date. I'll use her example. That definitely can be a date, right? Watching one of the shows your spouse likes, and maybe it's not your thing, but hey, you know what? That's what she likes. That's what he likes. I'm going in there and watch it with him and find out, what's going on.
Yeah. What about that? So what about text or intimacy in writing?
I really, that is one of my go-tos when I talk about communication with couples, is getting them to write a letter to each other. Right, because what that basically does is strip the defensiveness from you. It makes the person you're writing the letter to, they can't interrupt you, they can't get defensive, and all they have to do is read and process, and then come back after they've processed. So in writing or in texting, yes, texting can definitely be a level, a way to get intimate with someone. To me. Texting, all right, and umbrella statement, right? I'm not going to talk about my wife, but I'm just going to give you an umbrella statement.
Okay.
Think about it. What do you do with a car on in 30 degree weather in the morning, what do you do with it?
With a car?
If you come outside tomorrow and your car,
warm it up.
Right. So what the young lady said with the text and writing intimacy, right? That's what you're doing. You're warming up your spouse by sending texts. You're doing all of those things.
That's good.
And she's getting, he or she are getting like turned on or whatever, and looking forward to whatever's after that, right? So this can be an all-day thing. It can be, I like what you left out to work. We're working on today, whatever. And so what you're doing is you're building that level of intimacy. So when they come home or later in the day or whatever, it could be a happy ending. So, I just
I like that. Dr. Harris, she's talking about she got to stay with the old school writing and talking.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but that's good. But we've lost the art of having conversations because we got busy with everything. We got busy with social media. We got busy doing this, chasing our dream. But we've lost the art of just simple talking, communicating, and just having that one-on-one, face-to-face with that. But the idea, you to talk me that riding. I like to warm up the car, warm up that engine. That's good.
I mean, I'll just be, transparent again. My wife, and this takes me into my fourth point I want to make. Carving out your own alone time, right?
Oh, that's good.
For example, I'm home all day with the kids. I'm making sure they get their schoolwork done. I'm doing my sessions. Excuse me. And my wife will come in around 4 or 5 o'clock, but between 3 and 5, just depending on what she has to get to work. And she knows that once she comes in, it's not once she comes in, but at some point I need to like tap out.
Right.
I need to, have some space. I need to go decompress. I need to do me. And we've established that not even just in this quarantine, but just in general, we both need our own time.
Right.
Because it helps us in a sense refuel, and we realize that we don't have to be up under each other every day, all day. Even in the house that we're quarantined, she might go in one room and watch her thing. I might go in one room and do what I want to do. So, and it's okay. And she doesn't feel like, oh, you don't want to be around me. Why are you not in my space? No, she needs her space. She probably wants to get away from me too. So when you mention like the texting, another thing you can do is send text while you're in another room with each other, in separate rooms.
Yes. Someone else said this. Yes. Says, I need the text and warm that car up. And then she went on to this, sounds like a little foreplay. Yeah. But
it could be that, that's definitely what it could be.
And that's what it well, again, the design of it should be in that, so that we're opening up communication. We're putting fun and laughter back into the relationship. And I think we definitely have to have a lot of laughter. I love what you said, be patient. That goes back to your very first point. Be patient, put some fun, put some laughter in it. Listen, we in this together, so we might as well laugh at each other in this and find new ways of unifying the couple and in that. I even love what you and your wife are doing tonight, because I love this back and forth that you guys are in the same house with that. And that's exactly what you're doing. And you're laughing and she's laughing. Thank you guys for being an example and modeling that for everyone to see tonight, because it's important. So you've shown what it can do. Everyone's seen how your face lights up when your wife, when you put it on there. So I'm actually going, hold on, I got you down. Yes.
Right.
Team Jackson.
There you go, man. Team Jackson, man. Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, yes. And even Dr. Harris says, nothing better than an unexpected phone call or voicemail. Hearing that person's voice, that's good.
Yes.
And there's some good apps. Marco Polo, great app. Where you're kind of ping-ponging back and forth.
Yeah.
That. Yeah. Well, listen, man, I know it's late out there. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for honoring us and coming on here talking about couples. Listen, this was some great stuff that you have definitely talked about tonight. Listen, take this stuff and run with it, y'all. Take this stuff and run with it, man. Definitely.
No, I definitely appreciate it, man. I know, we've known each other for, about what, over a year now.
But yeah, about a year now, yeah.
Yeah, for a while, and I seen what you've been doing with the podcast thing coming out, and I'm proud to see that, man.
I appreciate
when you text me, it's like, hey, you want to get on? I was like, most definitely, I'm gonna do it. And I was just skeptical about the time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting old, man. This is my wind down time right now.
Oh man, listen, you young. I got all this gray. You ain't got no gray.
Man, look, it don't matter, man. Hey. But hey, I definitely appreciate it, man. I appreciate you reaching out to me and get me on your platform, and I definitely look forward to coming back, man. I guess I have to bring my wife next time, since she tried to do the show.
We gotta have a part 2 with this and have Team Mrs. Jackson come back.
There you go.
So we get to hear her perspective on that. No, I think it's so important, especially with too often we count out marriages of color, especially Black couples. We don't think that we can be professional. We don't think that we can have dynamic families, dynamic relationships. So I'm grateful that you have been able to model that. And then even as a Black male therapist, and even we didn't even have time to go down the road of what therapy looks like for Black men.
Right.
And I'm glad that you even were able to share your own personal experience about that and the self-actualization that happened with you during your therapeutic process in that as well. Man, you're doing great things. So let us know one more time, how can we get a hold of you?
Right. Yeah, most definitely, man. I only have 2 social medias. I have the Facebook, of course, Facebook / Starting Point Counseling. Is one, and of course my other one is the personal account I have with my name, Montiquus Jackson, and then my Instagram is MH Therapy _ and fitness. I'm sorry, MH Therapy _ fitness. So that's the Instagram. And I, like I said, I only have 2, but some things are coming down the pipe, so I definitely think that a couple more things with social media coming up.
Yeah, excellent. We got lots of great feedback saying great convo.
Jessica, that's my other sis from another.
Okay. And my boy Trey was in here. Trey, what's going on now? Yes, you see, we got Team Miss Jackson on here and everything. So we appreciate that. Yes, Veronica, thank you so much. This is my girl out here in the desert. She is just absolutely amazing. I can't thank you guys enough with that. My family, my auntie on here. Auntie, my book is coming out in July.
Yes, see?
So thank you. She's my cheerleader. She's been out there. Anything I have, she makes her way to it. So yes.
There you go, man. That's support.
So yes. Miss, hey, listen, see you in Cali. Most definitely. Listen, Miss Jackson, we can't wait to have you on here too. So we have the other half, the better half of Team Jackson. Yes. Man, again, thank you so much.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'll keep you on here while I go through my last little banter. With that, again, we don't want you to suffer in silence, but check us out at marcelconsulting.com. And I am so excited. Tomorrow is my big day, y'all. Tomorrow, the podcast actually drops. Tomorrow. Please check me out on any of your podcasting streaming forums. What are they? iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Apple, Google, Spotify. We're on all of that. I think we got about 4 or 5 episodes dropping on tomorrow. And this Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's 10 o'clock your time. Listen, set your clock and everything. I'm doing my virtual launch, live virtual podcast launch party. We got some stuff hooked up for there's going to be some surprises and everything. And again, in order to stay in touch with some things that I'm doing, listen, type I matter to 31996. I matter to 31996. Again, as always, we don't want you to suffer in silence, but we have to stop this stigma, the negative stigma about mental health, especially among communities of color. And we want you to what? Speak up, speak out, and live. Again, I want to thank my boy, Montiquus Jackson, out all the way from Florida, and Mrs. Jackson, who was hiding in the background, and everything. Yes, man. I appreciate both of you. Definitely looking forward. We're gonna have a part 2 with this. So thank you, man. I appreciate
you.
It is my pleasure. Listen, y'all, thanks for joining in. I'm going to do a surprise thing on Thursday and everything. And then Friday, don't miss out on Friday. Can't wait for y'all to come on Friday, y'all. Again, thank you again. Y'all have a blessed evening. We will talk real soon. Much love, my brother.
Take care.
Take care.
All right.
All right now. Take care, y'all.